right, y'all. Together, my niece Wari here, prison policy expert. And today, this video is, I haven't seen it, but the topic in itself is, so let's just dive right in.
I gave birth to my son in jail. I'm shackled and handcuffed to a bed.
So there have been policies now that would outlaw this. This was published 4 months ago, and it looks like she had her baby. Like the kid looks like he's at least 8 years old. So it was over 5 years ago that she had this experience. This was huge. Studies were coming out that were influencing policy changes, saying that the conditions under which a mother gives birth can have an impact on the child and their development. So it's going to be really, really, really fascinating to see her perspective. And we can also contrast this with how the laws have changed in several states that mandate that women cannot be shackled during birth.
My sentence was actually 10 years, 120 months, basically all theft related charges. I found out I was pregnant in June of 2011. The week I found out I was pregnant, I actually went to jail and I spent my entire pregnancy incarcerated. My experience of giving birth to Dominic while I was in jail was literally one of the hardest things. I'm in there with a guard, I'm shackled and handcuffed to a bed for the majority of the time.
So I wonder if she actually had birth in the jail facility or if she was in a hospital with a guard there watching her. So, for those of you all who don't know, my stepfather works, well, he's no longer my stepfather, my ex-stepfather, they were divorced, works in the Department of Corrections, and part of his responsibilities was to chaperone folks that were going to the hospital for whatever ailment. Now, he works with men, so it would never be for a birth, but during that time, they are shackled either by foot or leg to the bed, and he is in the room the entire time.
How did you feel when you were taken back to the cell after giving birth?
When I was taken from the hospital and I was put in the patrol car that was going to escort me back to the jail, I was already having a meltdown.
And I wonder how long did they let her spend with her baby? Did they let her spend the night with her baby? Did they let her breastfeed her baby at all? I bet not.
I was crying, I was screaming, I was kicking because it felt so wrong and so bad. And there's nothing I can do. I'm there because of my mistakes, but I was in such shambles leaving my son that they put me in the infirmary and I just cried it out.
The infirmary is like solitary, but with like medical aid. So they might give you some antidepressant pills or something like that. But it's like solitary confinement in that you're there by yourself in your cell. But unlike solitary confinement, you are monitored in a way that they are trying to provide treatment.
I've never been a mother prior to Dominic.
And she's never been a mother before. Like for your motherhood experience to be shaped by carceral confinement, like that's literally inconceivable.
There is definitely a stigma around being a formerly incarcerated mother.
Are you your worst action that you've ever done? Couldn't be. So she's not either.
That you wouldn't know what's best because you've been in prison, that you're more lenient and loose because you've done bad things. So surely you don't have structure and discipline in your home.
That transition period, it is a lot. A lot of people backslide because prison doesn't provide them, but because they don't have the tools in order to achieve in civilian life. Like they've been in prison life for so long. Like when people say, "Oh, I'm afraid they're institutionalized," meaning they're like beyond repair. But humans are so resilient, and we see this throughout history. We're so resilient. We can acclimate and adapt to anything. And she's done that successfully. But a lot of people underestimate the time that it takes for someone to successfully transition out of prison. And I wonder if the judge knew that she was pregnant when she was sentenced, because for some judges, that can play a role. And for others, it might not. It won't. It might even be harsher because of it. It's really sick. And when I think of her crime that she disclosed, theft, robbing, she was probably in poverty. who knows? Even though she came from a well-off family, so-called, she might have been rejected from that family or left that family for who knows what reason and had to fend for herself on her own. And who knows what types of financial strain she might have been under. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Don't hate, it's not good.